Yet within it is the God of God, called in Scripture the second man, the Lord from heaven. The outer man is called the man of earth, a man of dust. It does turn to dust. Give it a little time, or you can hasten the process by putting it in an oven. And you cremate it, and in just in a matter of moments, it turns into dust. Or put it into earth, and let time do it for you. It will still turn into dust. So the outer man is the man of earth, is the man of dust. But there is the immortal man, housed within this contraction, within this complete confinement. And that man is the man of whom I speak now. That's your immortal self. So that is the God. And we are told our God is a God of salvation. And our God, the Lord, it is from him that man escapes death. This is the world of death. So when I use the word God, bear in mind, I'm speaking of your own wonderful human imagination. That's the one that I speak of. This is the rock. Now, to show you how altogether wonderful the imagery is, in 1936, while I was seated, not thinking of anything in particular, I was seated in my living room. And there, with my eyes shut as in sleep, but I was not asleep, suddenly, before my eyes, there appeared a quartz about that big. Just a solid rock. No shape to it. As I looked at it, it became fragmented. It broke into many, many pieces and scattered. Then, as though some invisible hand, but certainly no hand that I saw, but some force, drew all the pieces together and reformed them, but not into a rock. It reformed them into a man. And the man was seated in the lotus posture. I looked at him, I was curious. And as I looked at this seated figure, seated in the lotus posture, I observed that he had my face. I am looking at myself. I became so completely entranced with what I'm seeing, because it had my face, but my face raised to the nth degree of perfection. I could not, honestly, looking into the mirror when I shave in the morning, ever think that eternity would be long enough to transform this face of mine into that face, and yet it was my face. There was the nth degree of perfection. There was a strength of character, a strength of majesty, you name it, that is altogether wonderful, and that face had it. And yet I knew I was looking at myself. Then it began to glow, and it began to glow like the sun. And when it reached the limit of, I would say, not translucency, but intensity, it exploded. And then I simply broke the little spell, because I wasn't asleep. I opened my eyes and pondered this strange, peculiar thing. So the rock that begot me, I am unmindful of it. Here I am actually getting something by coming down into this world and assuming the limit of contraction, penetrating these bodies and annexing these brains and wearing these garments that are so weak and all decay. They appear, they wax, they wane, and they vanish. Everyone, no matter how long he seems to live, he goes through the same process. So he hits 100, so what? In the end, he turns to dust. But that something that animated that body is immortal. It is in that body for a purpose. In that body to reach a certain understanding of the unity of being and the oneness of being. Now we are told he fell, and the whole world talks about the fall of man, as though man had done something wrong. Now let me quote from Blake in his first night. It's called Valor, and valor is simply the experiences that Blake had over a period of 9 nights. These are 9 nights. He calls them valor, or the 4 zones. He speaks of the fall into fragmentation, and the resurrection into unity. The fall into generation of decay and death, and the regeneration by the resurrection from the dead. Now he speaks of the great council. Then those in great eternity met in the council of God, and they met as one man. For by contracting their exalted senses, they behold multitude, or expanding, they behold as one. As one man, all the universal family, and that one man they called Jesus. And they in him, and he in them, live in perfect harmony in Eden, the land of light.